Hello dear students, I am Dr. Sanjay Pagar, Associate Professor, Department of Geography. Dear student, I welcome all of you in this online video lecture series on behalf of Maratha Vidya Prasar Samajas, Charity Arts, BH Commerce and AM Science, popularly known as KTHM College, Nashik. Dear student, this is our MA MSc Part 1st Geography class, Semester 1 and title of our subject is Principle of Economic Geography. Dear student, the paper code of this subject is JJUT 113. Dear student, today in this lecture we are going to discuss our topic number 7, that is economic development in India. And in this topic in this chapter we have a subtopic that is pre and post independence economic development in India. Dear student, in previous lecture we have discussed detailed information about e-commerce, its definition, advantages and disadvantages. For today's lecture, we have a study objective or learning objective that is very simple, to discuss the pre and post independence economic development in India. Dear student, in this chapter number 7, we have 5 subtopics. The first is, that is today we are going to discuss pre and post independence economic development in India. Second, we have very important topic, that is green revolution in India. Then we have need of new green revolution in India, then regional disparity in India, and last but not the least, the impact of globalization and privatization on economic development. So these all topics we are going to discuss in next few lecture one by one. So today we are going to discuss our first subtopic, that is pre and post independence economic development in India. Dear student, economic development is the process by which countries with a low living standard become nations with a high living standard. Economic development also refers to the process by which the overall health, well-being and academic level, the general population is improved. So therefore, this is a very important process. In this, what we are saying, that the economical condition of that country is really improved through the process of economic development, and that has happened each and every country. So most of the European country already achieved a good economic development through the various process, and now in Asia and Africa and the both countries has tried to achieve the economic development. Dear students, so this is a very important. If you're talking about the Indian economic development, so pre-independence India had a flourished economy based on agriculture and handicrafts. The quality of the workmanship in the field on the textile and the precious stone was high, leading to a worldwide base for Indian products. So this was a really very good feature when we are talking about the pre-independence economical development of India. The British policy was to turn India into an exporter of raw material and consumer of finished goods. This led the disruption of Indian economy. So this is a really due to the British rule, and India not achieved the good economic development during that period. The whole economic development of the economy of India is disturbed due to the British rule. Dear student, let us talk about the very important feature one by one. In short, about the pre-independence economic development in India. Let us talk with the Indus Valley civilization. What was condition during that period? The history of India's economies began with the Indus Valley civilization, which flourished the period from the 3500 BC to 1800 BC. The Indus civilization economy appeared to have depended significantly on trade, and the transport facility were very good developed in that period. And the main occupation of that time, the people was mostly engaged in the agriculture product or the agriculture activity, and they produced the good quality of the agriculture product in that period. So it means what? During this period, that there was a good economic development, especially the agriculture system, the agriculture occupation was developed too much. Then after that, if we're talking about the Maurya Empire, in that period also we have a good our economic development was good. During the 300 BC, the most of the Indian subcontinent was under the rule of Maurya Empire, and during that period Dear student, the empire spent a considerable resources on building road and maintaining them throughout the India. The political unity and the military security allow for a common economic system and enhance the trade and commerce with increase the agriculture productivity. This is a really very good feature of the Maurya period or Maurya Empire, because during that period we are able to do a very good progress in trade and commerce due to the management of the Maurya Empire. And really due to the, especially I'm talking about there was very good road network was they built in India, and they connect the most of the important cities and the trade center in India, and therefore the trade and commerce was developed in that period. This is another important feature. They improve the infrastructure combined with the increased security, greater uniformity in measurements, and increasing the uses of the coin as a currency enhanced trade. So this is a really very good feature. So use of the currency, a coin as a currency in this period, and they help to the development of the commerce or the trade in India. So that was happened in the Maurya Empire. Dear student, in Mughal period, if you're talking about the economic development, during the Mughal period, the India experienced the prosperity in history. This period was also very good for the economic development. The gross domestic product of India in the 16th century was estimated as about 25.1% of the world economy. Really, this was very good achievement during that period. Dear student, an estimate of the India free colonial economy put an annual revenue of the empire Akbar's the treasury in 1600 AD was at 17.5 pounds million. So really this was also good. This is a very good signs of the good economic development during the Mughal period in India. Dear student, the gross domestic product of the Mughal India in the 1600 AD was estimated at about 24.3% of the world economy, and it was the second largest in the world. I think the China was the rank first. So therefore this is the very good symbols, sign and symbols of during that period the economic development was good. Dear student, the Mughal Empire imposed a uniform custom and tax administration system in that period that was help to the development of the trade in India. In 1700 AD, the exchequers of the Empire Aurangzeb reported annual revenue of the more than the 100 million pounds. So dear student, this was also very good thing. It was a very good science that was during that period in the Mughal period. The economic development was on a good tracks. So therefore, this was about the economic development in the Mughal period. Let us talk about the British. In the British imperial, the empire began to grow in India in the middle of the 18th century. Dear student, the space of decline of the Indian industry set up during this period. Why? Because the British East India Company used the huge revenue generated by the provisions under its rule for the purchasing Indian raw material, spices, and the goods. And one thing is very important. In the short span of the 18 years, under the colonial rule, the India changed from its being an exporter of the processed goods for which it received a payment in a billion, to being and the exporter of the raw material and the buyer of the manufactured goods. That was changed during this period. In the 1750s, mostly the fine cotton and the silk was exported from India to the market of the European, Asia, and Africa. This was good symbol, but otherwise there was not too much development if we are talking about the economic development during the British period. By the 1850, the raw material, which chiefly consisted of the raw cotton and indigo, accounted for the most of the Indian export. The ruthless exploitation of the under British colonies rule completely devastated the India's economy, and the India's share of the world income went from 27%, it was in the 17th century, it was in 1700 AD, to only 3% in the 1950. Really, this was the too much decline. If we are talking about the economic development in India, it was happened only due to the British policy, the selfish policy of the British that was really harmful for the Indian economy. Dear student, the first phase of the British rule was 1757 to 1813. This phase is generally dated from the 1757 when the British East India Company acquired the right to collect the revenue from its territory in the eastern and the southern part of the subcontinent. Dear student, the British had come to India purely as a trading company, backed by the exclusive royal charter to trade with the India from their Queen Elizabeth I. Dear student, the first factory was set up on the bank of the Hooghly River in the West Bengal, and the company had managed to acquire the permit from the Mughal Empire that was exempted, it having to pay duties on its trade. That was really very harmful for the Indian economy. That was happened during the rule of the East India Company in India. The British East India Company in this period was to buy the spices, cotton and silk from India, and large quantity of the bullion would float out the Britain into India to pay for this community. And that was really because the purpose of this East India Company was only for generate the profit, and that was happened during this period. Dear student, in 1772, the governor of the Bengal, Warren Hastings, introduced a system of revenue farming in the provinces of the Bengal. And in this system, the European district collector would farm out the right to collect revenue to the highest bidder. And really, it was happening during this period. The Cornwallis introduced the system of the permanent settlement in the 1793. Under this system, the zamindar, who earlier only had a right to collect revenue, were established as the owner of land, and that was something very negative change we see during this period. During the Cornwallis introduced this system, and that was really harmful for the Indian economy. In the second phase, it was during the 1813 to 1858. This was the period of the free trade. India was converted into the source of the raw material had and the market for the British manufacturing. Dear students, the company lost its monopoly trading right in India with the Charter Act of 1813. The British Crown took over the direct control on the administration of all the British territory in India, and that was happened in 1858, and that was the end of the company, and that was really one good thing in Indian point of view. But again, the British rule was not to implement the good policy for the economic development in India. The atom exported in the first half of the 19th century included cash crop like indigo, cotton and silk. Gradually, raw jute, the food grain, oilseed and the tea replaced by the indigo and opium. The raw cotton remained the most in the demand atom during that period. You know that was the period was the industrial revolution in Europe, and you know that the first it was happened in the cotton industry or textile industry, and most of the raw material was supplied to that industry from India, and we received the fine product, fine cotton from the British people or from England. The greatest success of the Indian capital was seen in the cotton industry in the Western India, which took advantage of the high demand during the war period of the First World period of the 1914 to 18, because due to that that was during that period there was the first war. The First World War was on in the European continent, and that was something good thing for us, because during that period we can able to instilling or develop some industry in India during that period. Dear student, in the year of the 1918, the first steel plant was established in Jamshedpur. That was really good signs for the economic development of India. It laid down the foundation of the economic development in India, and that was great goes to the iron and steel factory which was started in India at the Jamshedpur. The depression year of the 1929 to 1933, the domestic market became relatively free and foreign trade was declined. That was something good for the Indian, because due to the World War first period, and after that the situation was very critical in European continent, and therefore during that period the foreign trade between India and England was declined in a large scale, and instead of that there was a policy to develop some good industry in India. So that was the period. Really, in this period, we can able to do some good development as a domestic market. We can able to started the few industry in India, especially I'm talking about in the western part of the India, the Mumbai and the coastal area of the Mumbai and some other coastal area of the Maharashtra and the other state. And that period, something good thing was happen, and we able to started few company during that period. That was really a good sign for the economic development of India during the pre-independence period. Dear student, during the Second World War that was happened, you know that the Second World War was also on in European continent. It was the period of the 1939 to 1945. During that period, there was also few very good things that will happen with respect to the Indian economy. During the Second World War, the foreign economic situation declined. The Indian entrepreneur managed to make the huge profit during that period. The Indian capitalists, the class strengthened their link with the nationalist movement, and they soon started demanding the establishing heavy industries under the state ownership, and started the organizing themselves to receive the entry of the foreign capital in India. That was really good things. In the 1867, the Dadabhai Naoroji put forward the drain of wealth theory, in which he stated that the British was completely draining India. That was really very good things, because during that period, this theory was something the awareness in Indian economy or Indian in India. So that time he explained how the British people are transfer the money from India toward the England, toward the Britain, and that was the money or the income was the India, but they spend for the various scheme and the policy or the pension of the British people, and through that way they was transfer the Indian money toward the England and the Britain. So therefore that was totally very systematically explained by the Dadabhai Naoroji, and that was really good thing, the positive thing that was helped indirectly to develop at some extent Indian economy in India, because most of the Indian people were against the policy that was implemented by the British people in India. The Indian economy was highly agrarian during that period. Near about 85% of the Indian depend on the agriculture, but the sector remained the stagnant as the British focus the extracting the maximum revenue from it without any capital investment. That was really one negative thing was happened during that period. The common people never got the benefit from this trade. The trade also laid the accurate stories of the commodity for the domestic demand. The British capital investment in the railway was to benefit its own industrial base as the market expanded as per their expectation. The communication facility too were for the purpose of the law and the order, and the Indian never derived any benefit out for it. Therefore, there was not too much good support from this development of the railway and the communication facility for the Indian economy. That was only the British people introduced this system only for their own purpose, their administration purpose and their selfish purpose, and they would like to take benefit from this system only for them, not for Indian. But really at some extent in the next period it was really helpful for the Indian economical development. One of the important reasons for the slow growth of the Indian industry was the lack of support from the government. The British government was not helped to the industries or the Indian some small scale industry. They not invest the money in that. They only want to generate the profit from the raw material. That was maybe the cotton, it may be the species or the spices, or maybe the other things, indigo and numbers of the cash crop. They only want to generate the profit, but they would not like to develop the Indian economy in India. So therefore, really this was the very negative thing that was happened during the British period. Dear student, this was about where we just talk about what was the condition of Indian economy before the Indian independence period. And in next period, we are going to discuss few important the feature of Indian economic development after the Indian independence. So okay, thank you.